Yeah, what up? It's us again. Us two.
Oh
Me,
no,
Gareth,
not again.
him, Drag and Drop. Second series of the day. ESL 1 Genting Chinese qualifiers. Draft is ready. Let's just frickin' go into this. Sun Gaming up against VGJ Gaming. J Thunder. Most obnoxious, longest name in all of Dota 2. We'll call them Thunder from here on out. But the draft has progressed to a point where we're in the second phase. Very quick from both teams as we run through the Bounty Elder, Titan Omni-Knight, Broodmother, Puck, and Beastmaster, Clockwork, Razor, Tidehunter, and Batrider all banned out. Drag and Drop. What has happened in the last 3 hours? Because this is not the first time that these two teams have met each other recently.
It is not indeed. Just before this, they played a series in the H-Cup, and Thunder ended up winning 2-1, with the third game going all the way past the hour mark, 1 hour and 7 minutes, as well as 36 seconds. That's what it took them to bring down Sun Gaming, who have played very different heroes in all of these games. Same for VGJ, really. So, and even this one, right? Disruptor, Sanking. Bit of a new leaf there from Sun Gaming. They did play Disrupt in game number 1 in the last series, which they won. But Sanking has not made an appearance with them, at least today, in this particular matchup. So, well, we'll see where it goes. Death Prophet once again, one of the go-to heroes here these days for a lot of Chinese teams by the looks of it. And very solid mid-pick here, VGJ Thunder. Gonna have some issues perhaps dealing with that. And also one of these heroes that once you get a couple of levels in, once you have the Spirit Siphon, makes it a little bit harder for a hero like Tusk to come in and just gank very easily at least. So you have that extra bit of survivability to buy you enough time for support rotation to come in to help you out of trouble. VGJ Thunder though, well, probably still coming in as the favorites into this particular matchup. They certainly have the momentum coming in from that earlier series, but both teams had a little bit of time to reset. Take a break here.
Have their dinner.
With dinner, yeah.
It was a 2-0 victory in the last series. 34-minute victory for Sun, followed by a 31-minute victory for Thunder. Sun against Thunder, it's turning into some Pokemon game. Gold versus silver, red versus blue, diamond versus emerald, Sun versus Thunder. But the third game in that series was over an hour long. Seems like it was a pretty interesting one. We don't get the Shadow Fiend Clockwork combo. We miss out on that one, unfortunately, as Clock is banned. But like you said, we get the DP again, favorite hero for a lot of these Chinese teams, while Sun start things out with a ton of team fight, a lot of lane pressure, and some good objective-taking heroes. Vici do have a little bit themselves, a bit of save and aggressive nature of Tusk Snowball. They've got the Shadow Shaman for the push power with those Serpent Wards, and now they can start deciding which way to go. Do we meet them head-on with team fight, or we try and split push things out? Well, Medusa can do both. Farm some ancient stacks, get yourself to the point where your opponents have to deal with you, seeing as you get so tanky.
Pretty much, Sun Gaming, with the immediate response, the Anti-Mage making an appearance. The scourge of pub games everywhere, but not all that ubiquitous in pro matches. But to pick it up here, up against Medusa, but you're also up against a Shadow Shaman. Technically, a lot of really good lockdown up against this AM, and it's even something that the classic Manta style can't really help you with either. So you gotta be a bit careful, wary of the Shadow Shaman and his positioning throughout this game. But other than that, you should be able to play around the Medusa, counter out that hero to a good extent, and then set up for a Death Prophet to come in and swoop everyone else away with the help of that exorcism.
So final ban time. Both teams have their 1 and their 2. It looks like the offlaners have been left until this final stage of the game. We don't see a lot of Enigma nowadays, but could be a decent pickup here for Sun Gaming up against all of these nasty, nasty heroes. You catch the Juggernaut while spinning, cancel out that Blade Fury TP. And Beastmaster, I guess, could do a similar... Oh no, he was banned. Never mind, first phase banned, yeah. You definitely need to look for something like that to cancel out the TPs. Legion is a decent ban up against the DP and Anti-Mage. Would have had that good lockdown to allow the Juggernaut to do the damage in.
The Doom is still left in the pool. Wouldn't hate that for either team, really. Especially for Thunder to just have that one quick button up against the Anti-Mage, make sure that he can't really do anything. And also to prevent the blink outs, obviously. The other would be Underlord, also not the worst, just with the root. You have a timing up against the Anti-Mage, but ultimately he will be able to counterplay that with the help of the Manta style.
Other options that just don't seem as good. The Magnus is out there for that empowered Juggernaut. You could also have an empowered Anti-Mage, though. Pretty spooky.
Yeah.
For both sides. Sun don't really need to look for any more, mana burn or anything like that. They've got the Anti-Mage to provide that for themselves. They just need that synergy hero to bring everything together. The Brewmaster removed. Another hero that has been utilized very well against Medusas in recent history. Just cyclone her up and deal with your opponent's heroes. As Thunder go for the Night Stalker. Good silence against the Anti-Mage. A good amount of negative vision power as well against heroes like Sand King and Disruptor, who both require vision to catch heroes and convert them into kills for the rest of the team. But this final pick for Sun Gaming really does have to be the game winner.
Yeah, that's the one guy that can perhaps even help save the Anti-Mage, because right now, especially with the Night Stalker, as you just said, there's a lot of extra pressure mounting on top of him. So, yeah. They need perhaps something that can help set up together with the Disruptor and Sand King to just go more into this teamfight style, go for a 4 protect 1 even, where the 4 of them together can pose as much of a threat, or a big threat essentially, so the Anti-Mage has space to farm on the other side of the map and split push and do his thing, and gets to a point where he's harder and harder to deal with. Even perhaps a BKB in this game, something you might consider eventually, but it's Magnus for them actually, and does kind of fit into that, with the RP being able to set up, of course, as mentioned, that Empower to basically that early Battle Fury to help him accelerate even faster and even quicker, and also do a ridiculous amount of damage if you do find a few heroes in a big combo.
And it's something to cancel that Jug Spin TP as well,
yeah.
like I was saying. A very good pickup there for them. I wonder now if VG Gaming are thinking, hang on, why didn't we pick Magnus? How have we not gone for this hero? But it will be Sun Gaming that gets their hands on that. Of course, we do not have a ticket, unfortunately, in this tournament just yet. Sun Gaming made up of Faded, Waishi, Mur, Ice Ice, and the man with the longest Chinese name, who is known as Blink, ex-Wings Gaming player. Very skilled. VG Gaming Thunder. They've got some pretty well-known names on their lineup, right? All built around Sylar on the one roll. Kama, Yang, Fade, and Io picking up the rest of the pieces as well.
Sylar picking up the Juggernaut, probably the most recognizable name for us Westerners, with the only one lacking Chinese characters here on the side of VGJ.
0.0, the little face. Well, away we go. Oh, no, that's not the button I wanted. Boots first, Sand King, and Boots first on Magnus. Very early aggressive builds from them, looking to get that pressure in the lanes as early as they possibly can. Also look to escape from heroes like the Shadow Shaman and the Tusk. DP sets up for mid. Looks like Anti-Mage for Faded here, a little bit timid, scared of what's coming his way down towards the bottom rune spot. Dire setting up for a bit of an aggressive move forward. Observer Ward already down, blocking up one of these camps, giving a nice bit of vision across the area. And the Radiant are just giving up on this. Well, they've drawn a line to come across. DP is saying, hey, I'm not coming top for the rune, I'm going to come down to bottom and we'll contest. We've seen 2 heroes top potentially, Shadow Shaman and Juggernaut, both showing to the Magnus. So the Radiant, Sun Gaming, know that they're going to be 4v3 down here potentially.
Yeah, they'll certainly get the one on their side, but also pushing across to the other, chasing Medusa away. Normally that prompts a similar movement on the other side of the map, but it's quite a position there for Thunder to go across. So Magnus looks like he'll be able to get Baltoon for himself, shifting that to a 3-for-1 trade in favor of Sun Gaming. So also a good start, and it's really what this game is going to come down to, like how well they can withstand in the laning phase, how quickly the support will get the level 6s, and how much space they can buy for the Anti-Mage. Faded. Yesterday we've seen him play Shadow Fiend out of mid 3 times, I believe. This time relegated to the safe lane position, Blink taking over the Death Prophet.
Relegated? No. Safe lane, best lane.
You can argue that, yeah. But the point is, he's in a different position. He's just going to farm, and there's certainly going to be a lot of pressure mounted on him to try and prevent him from getting to the point where he's just a really big threat, not just for Medusa, but everyone else as well.
Night Stalker gone on immediately here. Mana Break level 1 with the help of Burrow Strike gets a lot of damage in onto the little Night Stalker. So we've set up here with aggressive dual lane against defensive tri-lane. Anti-Mage babysat by both of his supports, but they'll realize now that their pull camp has been blocked, so they need to play aggressively in this lane and look for kills, look for the pressure to push back these dire heroes. The damage is coming through onto Tusk, not enough to kill him, so they switch back and try and shove the Night Stalker into a position where he has to burn through his regen.
A lot of mana to work with already as well, so still has the mango, but ideally you want to build it into one rather than pop it for a void. So the threat potential from the Night Stalker in this lane is not exactly there. Tusk, bit of a different story perhaps, but of course the shards not gonna be a big threat for Anti-Mage once you hit that level 2 and have the blink available for emergencies. So the way this lane should work out should be in favor of the Radiant side eventually. But the one thing that they don't get is a lot of early stacks here for the Anti-Mage they could be farming up with the Empower.
Got it.
So in that sense, it's still a success for Thunder here. As I say that though, Snowball defensively and put a Night Stalker on the inside. The big tanky Tusk, blink across though, faded, a couple of extra right clicks. No more mana to burn though, so no extra damage coming in from that, but another Burrow Strike, not gonna get in range despite the boots. Night Stalker.
Level 1 Burrow Strike is one of the worst stuns to try and land.
Yeah.
He will secure a regen rune for himself though. Not gonna get... Oh, it does. It does get cancelled out. Tusk wasting his mana there, it feels like, but gets himself a bounty rune for good measure. Juggernaut 16-12, Medusa 13-3. We've been spending a lot of time focusing on their bot lane just because that's where all the action is, but it's the farm that the Dire are getting in these other lanes. Outmaneuvering their opponents. Magnus getting a decent amount of levels, up to almost 3, but with one last hit to his name, definitely not farming as well as maybe he would like.
So look at the nice on a Juggernaut, 15 here for Sylar. And that's really devastating in this day and age. So you take away 80% of the experience. You can't just stand in the sidelines and hope to leech. It's not really working anymore. You need to be able to contest, but with the Shadow Shaman always lurking around, this is just not something that the Magnus can afford. Because he gets shackled up, 2 levels on the spin, he's just going to drop very quickly indeed.
I love it when skilled players drop their Quelling Blade under tower to get last hits. It really does turn me on. Great stuff, Sylar. Very, very good. Just to make sure you get those last hits, pre-damage the creeps, get the damage from the tower to get in, but not steal your little last hits. Juggernaut now 25 and 16. Absolutely ridiculous levels of farm there. Missing very, very few CS. And of course, denying experience away from the Magnus as much as he possibly can. And they'll send the Sand King up to top to try and alleviate some of this. But again, it opens things up bottom for Night Stalker now in his first night time to play aggressively. Disruptor will back away. Looking to try and deny a creep away, but Night Stalker's got the attack damage there to get the job done.
Same time, man, we see some of these supports rotating in and out. There was an Invis rune picked up by the Sand King. Is that his courier following it?
No, that's a Dire courier.
I was like, what the hell?
Phase boots arriving here for the Juggernaut. Level 5 Jug, though, finding a kill or anything here is close to impossible. With the Radiant scanning in behind the southeast of this Tier 1 mid, DP feels relatively safe, but no move from the Shadow Shaman just yet. Instead, they'll start with the shards, but doesn't block the DP in, pushes her back away, pops a raindrop in the meantime, while the Sentry will deward that obs. Now everything is dark and spooky for the Death Prophet. She has no idea when she's going to be jumped on next.
Yeah. So far, this laning stage working out well for Thunder, I mean, especially considering this one-position matchup. Sylar playing this lane perfectly well, even has some stacks to drag the creep wave into.
Level 3 spin to clear it all up as well.
Yeah.
Not even using it just yet. Is he going to secure? No, he misses one. Oh dear. Oh, he misses another. Oh, misses another.
No.
No, Sylar. Not like this.
Well, they fucking lost now. I mean,
Yeah.
what else can we say?
Everything was so perfect, but it wasn't to be. He does reset the equilibrium, though. That's the main purpose of this. Where's the range creep gone? Hang on. Wait. Where did it go?
Magnus dragged a wave. Maybe that was intercepted.
Oh, yeah. There's a catapult coming now as well, a little bit late. Fair enough. Fair enough. Bottom lane. There's the first blood in on the Night Stalker. Anti-Mage and Sand King. Working well with this glimpse and kinetic field to bring down the Night Stalker during nighttime. Very, very important to get that kill in this period as they smoke up now. It's going to get popped almost immediately there by the Tusk, so a completely wasted smoke. They're still moving towards mid. This is absolutely bizarre.
They're just baiting them in a little bit further. Tusk and Night Stalker coming through now. Double burst strike potential after the snowball, but might not be enough to save the Disruptor, especially now with the Snake bouncing through as well. Now Sanking also in trouble. Faded with a rotation on the Anti-Mage. Not exactly common, but maybe they can turn this around, especially if that probably can get in range. Force Spirit Siphon slow or Nuke or two.
They'll get one.
They get him. Is it really worth it? I mean, I guess the Creeper was pushed across towards the tower. You don't really feel safe last hitting there.
Yeah, you're not missing that when you last hits Anti-Mage. Like, sure, it's worth Anti-Mage coming across, but Radiant waste a smoke. They lose a couple of heroes. They get one kill on the Tusk. Medusa gets involved in that very importantly as well. So not only is she, second place in CS, but her net worth will be amped up. Whoa. Okay.
Yeah, that was the shackles into.
He still has Omni Slash, hey? There's no skewer here. Juggernaut's going to get another one. This is going to be a double kill for Juggernaut. Sala just has to pop the ulti and down goes the Magnus.
Huh. Well, that's the power of this lane, isn't it? And they just walked into them, not once but twice. Magnus unable to get out of there. Even with the Shrine available, and that's the big issue. I mean, with everything that's happening in the bottom lane, with Faded even getting a couple of kills, normally it's not something that you want to have against you, just feeding some kills towards the Anti-Mage, especially with Magnus on the team, but that Magnus, only one level in power, so can't really help too much to catch, to help the Anti-Mage get further ahead. And you also have two lanes that have gone extremely well. Juggernaut sitting at 56 assets, 25 denies, and a couple of kills. Meanwhile, mid though, well, nice little dodge there. And Tusk, still a little bit of trouble. TP through from Juggernaut, does have the spin. The Exorcism will help dispatch of the Tusk very quickly, now diving past the tower to get the glimpse back, right back under it. Long TP there from Night Stalker. And is it going to be enough damage here with the Healing Ward out? Not being countered, but the Exorcism Spirits find their target, but it will cost the Shackles. Find the DP, Stick Chargers, not enough to keep Blink alive. And it's a 2-for-1 trade in the end. Kind of keeping Juggernaut down a notch, but not even done yet. Disruptor next on the list here is Night Stalker, making good use of that ultimate.
Ends up 2 for 2, and again, the fact that you're popping Exorcism, you're committing 3 heroes mid. Sure enough, Juggernaut TPing there to try and save his buddy. Looks a bit awkward, but it allows the Dire to bring the rest of the heroes in, get Medusa involved, and she is so incredibly farmed at this point. You're looking at her sitting at level 7, sure, but net worth-wise, 3.6k, just ahead of that DP. Anti-Mage is still on a long road towards his items, going for the Vanguard build, which we haven't seen too often of late, but with a Magnus on your team, likely maxing in power as his next ability is coming up, you should be able to get the value from that cleave anyway.
So the Vanguard will allow him to join the fights earlier, be a little bit more tanky, and soak up a little bit more damage. And I mean, once you have the mana break max, it's also a significant amount of extra utility and power that you bring to the table. So it's not something to ignore.
Got it.
Seaworth can make good use of that. Burst strike, spin is there. He should be fine at the same time. They can keep vision, they can dump him right back with the kinetic field, catching him, but mass TPs coming through here from Thunder. Healing wards, unable to be counted out. Faded now, he's in a lot of trouble. Does have a blink available, but the shackles find him. He doesn't actually pull the trigger on it, and as a result,
Silas playing that so well. He even had 7-1 charges and the ability to ulti if he really wanted to, but just holding on, knowing his team's going to arrive. And they, again, Thunder, they pull out all the stops to make the counter rotations, the counter initiations. They are reacting perfectly to this Radiant team. Sure enough, a little bit of space here for the Magnus, but immediately Juggernaut's back up towards top lane. They're not wasting any TPs, they're not wasting any smokes. There really is no redundancy about this Dire team's play.
yeah.
And they've got huge stacks of the Medusa. Like, everything is going perfectly for them.
Yeah, while all that was happening, Medusa was just clearing through one of the medium camps here and just surging ahead. If you look at the net worth now, it was still closer to DP, but much closer to his own Juggernaut as well, and that's a bit of an issue, because a farmed Medusa can be extremely hard to deal with, even with an anti-mage. Especially with the rest of his teams doing this well. I mean, this Night Stalker, huge source of vision. Meanwhile up top, Exorcism used. This time, Gonna punish the Juggernaut with usage of a couple of ultimates.
They need to turn this into a tower, though. If Thunder can come back and defend this tier 1 or claim a tier 1 for themselves down at bottom, they've got Serpent Wards to throw into the mix, so it looks like they'll go for the trade instead. Still a decent play here as mid lane is also being pressured by the Night Stalker. Again, this Radiant team, they're going for these minimal picks into plays, while the Dire team making the most of the rest of the map.
Siege creep, they're gonna do significant damage here. This mid tier 1 as well will end up in the deny range, more than likely. It already is. As the glyph comes through, bottom tier 1 has fallen to the woods.
And there's your Medusa. Mask of Madness now up. Finished off the ancient camps. She's gonna sit here for a while, just farm through these for a little while as she moves into her next item. Juggernaut nearly has that Yasha done. Something that we see a little bit from Juggernauts. Yeah, moving into the Shadowblade next for that initiation tool. This is a Sylar special. Doesn't really like the Battle Fury build, just wants to go for the early stats from Yasha. And then Shadowblade to be able to catch people off guard. But he has been spotted by that one Radiant Observer ward. Death Prophet going to have to make the fast retreat away through this dire jungle. But look at this. Look at this Tusk. He's scouting. He's hasted. He's running around looking for people.
Yep. What's up in power? Closing on the Blink Dagger too. This might be one of these things that can shift the balance of power here, especially if you don't expect it. You all of a sudden get 2 of your... What the hell was that? Oh, flying up in the air, but still got caught by the RP. Snowball in to try and help. Tusk just throws his own life away on top of the Night Stalker. Maybe not the ideal situation.
Attempted save not working out for the Tusk, unfortunately. Juggernaut is forced away from top tier 1 by the Sand King and the Anti-Mage. SK cancelled out his TP though and waits around down bottom. Epicenter Burrow Strike ready. Could go for a play here. Shadow Shaman's all alone. They are spam pinging the Rasta saying, hey dude, get back. There are bad men around. Here's the Epicenter. Hex to slow him down. The Epicenter's just about going to catch on with a couple of the pulses. But the Burrow Strike expended means that a TP away, the Yules, oh, it's ready from DP to cancel the TP. Easy, easy play.
Good patience there from Sand King, just holding on, waiting until reinforcements are in range and waiting to go until he absolutely has to, because Shadow Shaman is already on the retreat. So, get themselves that kill, not committing too much at the same time though. It is still nighttime now with the ultimate from Night Stalker, restricting vision even further. That's smoked up, charging across and claiming control over this part of the map. You're all in an effort to secure tier 1 top, by the looks of it. Already super low, so Sylar will be able to get rid of it extremely quickly. And right now, on the other side, Sun Gaming not quite in a position to do the same thing. So they're offering tier 1 there.
Well, at some point, you're going to be looking at this Medusa with Healing Ward pushing towers and wondering how to deal with her, but it's been a good period of time now for the Magnus to actually farm up in towards the Blink Dagger. Once this Blink is up, things do actually get a little bit scary for the Dire. If they're grouping up and starting this 5-man push with Serpent Wards with Medusa into these objectives, a big RP is what the Magnus is looking for and waiting for. With this movement forward though, they'll find the Anti-Mage stunned, silenced, and, well, chained into oblivion. He's not going to survive through that. A big RP does land in, though. The Magnus has caught 4 heroes. It just isn't enough damage to do anything, really, apart from kill the Shadow Shaman, who ends up getting a double kill with the Serpent Wards. Popping that Exorcism is really not where you need to be at this stage of the game. In the meantime, Juggernaut's free-farming bot lane, so a huge disaster there for the Radiant, expending ultis, expending heroes, and not getting anything in return.
Yeah. All in dying there was the Shadow Shaman, and just kudos to them making that decision, just dropping absolutely everything that they have on that anti-mage kill, not taking any chances, because they know they're in enemy territory. Right, there's a good chance that there will be a couple of extra heroes rotating in to try and help out, so if you don't commit these Serpent Wards, maybe they don't even get that anti-mage kill. And as a result, they do finish that. The RP came through, was absolutely ridiculous, catching everybody that was in the area. But without an empowered anti-mage, without Death Prophet even in the middle of that with Exorcism, you just don't have the damage output really. Static Storm was already winding down. And then Medusa still got that Stone Gaze off in the end to secure the extra couple of kills. So everything's working out just fine here for Thunder. And they continue to build their lead, and especially slowing down its anti-mage is the one thing that they have to worry about for the Medusa. Now, another kill here on the Sand King. Couple of right clicks will finish him off eventually.
Easy picks, and now this Juggernaut Medusa. Very, very strong. Oh, no, Silent, no! Don't go back for Battle Fury. Come on.
Battle Fury blinked the Fusel Blade. He knows on your opponent's anti-mage, but he doesn't necessarily need that here, does he?
Oh. His idea of how the game is going to be played has definitely shifted, it feels like. Yeah. He was going for Yasha, Shadow Blade, because the game was like relatively even and that Shadow Blade would open the game up, look for picks, catch the DP, catch the anti-mage, and really, you know, put the pressure on. But with the Battle Fury, he'll be able to shove out waves much nicer and play more of a solo game, while the rest of the team focuses around sitting on this Medusa and making sure she has a good game. And you're also looking at this Jug. It's 16 minutes in, and he has Yasha Battle Fury. Yeah. He is incredibly fast.
The Battle Fury before the Anti-Mage. He was not opting to finish that up whatsoever, because he is relying fully on the Empower now. Which does mean that you're kind of shackled to the Magnus in some ways. Like you can't just split push with the help of that cleave necessarily all the time. Oh, now blinking in again into the trees. I think he's just sitting on the high ground, isn't he? Yeah.
He is.
Just waiting to see whether there's some sort of pressure coming through. Not a whole lot of vision up in the north side of the map. The rest of his team's smoked up, looking to protect him with through some aggression.
They're pretty certain where the Medusa is. They've just scanned in on top of her, but she's already cleared through the majority of those camps. And the Dire, they're grouping up for a smoke of their own, it appears. Is there someone holding on to one? The Shadow Shaman, no. The courier deliver one? No, they're just grouping up.
Yeah.
They don't care about smoke. They don't care about hiding. They want to show themselves and make a play. The solo RP. They've caught the Medusa, but I'm not sure about this. A good epicenter burst strike will be able to clear them through with the Mana Void. There we go. Finally a good fight, but the Omni Slash is dealing so much damage in onto the Magnus. Not quite finishing him off, so he needs the Blade Fury to do the job. Self-Yules, DP up in the air, but the Ghost is still flying until the Tusk comes in and punches her into the sky, straight to heaven as the Anti-Mage silence into the Chain Stun. The Snowball follows through, but he blinks away. A little bit of distance gained, but that blink still on cooldown with the Void to follow. The Urn is a Spirit Vessel going in onto the Anti-Mage. Is blinked back, and Disruptor TP's away, but they're still chasing the shards. Oh god, if they can get another Spirit Vessel Soul Release? No, not quite. He shrines up and will escape. All things considered, a very good fight for the Dire team, as the Radiant expend so much to kill that one Medusa.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Well, they also got the task force of buybacks, so it's not that crazy, but if you consider what they actually committed for that, there was RP into Epicenter, into Static Storm, into Mana Void. Literally every ultimate was used by the Radiant in that fight.
But and as always comes down to like what did you do with it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You use all those spells, you kill a Medusa, you force a buyback, you got the Shadow Shaman, but the Dire are the ones, you know, chasing for more and winning the fight. When you think about the grand scheme of things, especially when Roshan, Tier 1 tower, all still standing, it does buy time though. That's the one thing the Radiant do for themselves there, is they buy a little bit of time. They slow down the potential 5-man from the Dire. They make sure that the Anti-Mage can keep farming for a little bit longer, at the very least.
He certainly needs some more time. Even with the Manta Style, it's a bit of a hybrid item for him. Of course, to do a lot of extra damage with the Mana Burn, just setting up for a quicker, big Mana Void. But ideally, you want looking towards the one extra item and these extra levels before you're really feeling comfortable going into fights like that. Especially since there is still the Shadow Shaman to worry about for the long lockdown. Like you still maybe some Omni Slashes that you have to play around. There's so many things in this game for him to worry about, even with the Manta Style. I feel like that they need to buy a lot more time, but same goes for the other side. It's not like a Thunder on a clock here, right? You have a Juggernaut with the Battle Fury, so he's farming just as quickly, if not quicker, than the Anti-Mage in this game. And you also have a Medusa with the split shot keeping up. They're spreading themselves across the map very efficiently. So Medusa farming on one side of the jungle, Sylar on the other side. And yeah, as a result, they're still claiming the top 2 slots of the net worth chart. And this is going to be an issue, especially if the Death Prophet is slowed down.
They're looking for some kind of catch. That is one thing that the Dire maybe lack here, is that overwhelming teamfight catch. So they do have to rely on, baiting out a Medusa, trying to force the Radiant to fight into them. They scan forward here, the Radiant, knowing that the Dire are likely coming their way, holding high ground and waiting for this moment to strike, but the Observer from the Dire sees them. Anti-Mage jumps forward, immediate blow up onto the Shadow Shaman. No real follow through though.
Let's go to high ground as well, silenced up. Snowball will only delay the inevitable here. Double kill for Fader, alright.
More time, and now more chance of an objective. Exorcism is ready, this is exactly what the Radiant were looking for. The Dire played right into their hands. They just didn't send a Medusa forward. She was playing very timidly. As the Dire were looking to get that vision advantage so they could see where the Radiant were coming from. Sylar goes back to farming. Bot lane is being pressured here by the Night Stalker, so they get a bit of chip damage onto a tier 3. Still an Aegis in the hands of the Anti-Mage though, with Manta Style and power. And now Aegis.
Yep. Could have potentially just backed over the tier 1 tower. Of course, there's no protection against it here with the remainder of that Exorcism. But they opted to not take that chance, instead just falling back and just farming up a little bit. But yeah, they have, again, more time being bought. And just maybe putting a chip on their shoulder here, or on the side of Thunder, making them think twice about the next move that they're making. Still in farming mode though themselves, right? You're looking at Medusa, Hurricane Pike, and now going straight for the Butterfly, which makes things a little bit more interesting. Not necessarily help you up against the Exorcism's birds though.
AM's going for a butter himself. Juggernaut and Medusa, a lot of he's changed. He wants to go for a basher now. Much more aggressive itemization. Rely even more on your teammates. Sand King, Magnus and Disruptor. And again, this Radiant team really does have the better team fight. If they get the jump, they can blow people up with their chain stuns, their big AoE abilities. And the Radiant, all in all, have a much more well-rounded lineup, while the Dire team are farming better, sure. They're pushing better, yes, definitely. Controlling the map with this Night Stalker, with this Tusk, but if they meet in a head-on-head clash, once the 5 heroes on one side meet the 5 heroes on the other, you do have to favor the Radiant in terms of team fight prowess.
Yeah, especially if they keep getting the drop on the Medusa like they've been able to do in that one fight in mid. Especially seeing how she does not itemize towards the Lincolns or BKB or anything to protect herself from that mana burn and that Abyssal Blade that's going to come out from the Anti-Mage. Or the Mana Void, of course, being the big one. Because Medusa, generally, you want to build into a big mana pool because that's adding so much to your effective HP with a Mana Shield. That's a double-edged sword in this kind of game. For now, though, Anti-Mage leading the charge. Baited, trying to make them go in on him as he's welling away at the tower. The rest of his team sitting back behind him to jump in case he does get initiated on.
And the one downside is the Radiant do need to be grouped up as 5. They can't have one of these pieces of the puzzle missing when they meet the enemy team. That's why the split push is happening here. Bottom lane, Juggernaut and Medusa just continue farming. There is the Butterfly. It might start to feel a little stronger now as Night Stalker pops the darkness and flies over the trees with Burrow Strike on cooldown. 3 seconds for the stun, but they've got the glimpse with that vision helping out. They'll catch the Night Stalker and down he goes.
Just sneaking so many of these kills with the ultimate finishing them off. 7, 2, and 4 on this AM. Now he's tying himself up in terms of his net worth together with Sylar, who's now putting pressure on the mid lane, as well as the bottom lane with the rest of his team. So, in Sun Gaming, surely they have to respond to this. This tower's already down half health.
It's gonna die.
Yeah, there's no glyph.
There is no glyph.
It's just gonna be a tower for free.
And this is the thing, right? But the fact that the Radiant have this overwhelming teamfight force and their 5-man is super strong, they're going around as 5, they're grouping up. The Dire just spread thin across the map. They get a tier 3 take. They're going to get a lot of damage onto the range racks. In fact, down to half HP from just Serpent Wards. And the Radiant don't really get much outside of a tier 2 top. You think about map control in general, sure, you've taken an objective here, but it doesn't really gain you that much in the long run, apart from maybe allowing Anti-Mage a little bit of free space in the near future.
Certainly not in comparison to the value of these shrines at this point in the game. Not just for heals, but also as an extra teleport location to also then establish that map control, then just keep your jungle safe and have that teleport point in case the anti-mage is farming your jungle, he gets going on, you want to teleport to that location to then help him out, but you can't do that anymore because you've already lost a tier 3 very early on. This entire team.
They've already lost their team, dude. They've lost every player on their freaking team. GG.
Well, that's one way to end the game, I guess.
Anti-mage just come back. Who paused, by the way? Medusa. Well done, Medusa. Very nice of you to pause there.
Doesn't it auto-pause at some point?
No, only in ticketed games.
Okay.
Yeah. Unfortunately, not a ticketed game, so Medusa, very good manners there. Pauses for the opponents. So, slow-paced game, back and forth. Next Roshan definitely going to be a big point of contest. Just under 4 minutes until the big man returns, about 45 seconds until Aegis goes. Anti-mage not really accomplished too much with it, but you've definitely seen the Dire team, dodging fights incredibly well. The vision they've got has allowed them to do so as they've controlled the majority of this map themselves. But you still have to win a team fight to win the game. And it's going to have to come down to how well this Medusa can control that frontline tankiness that she has. Play around and kite the anti-mage of the Magnus. Try and make sure that you don't get 5-man RP'd as this Dire squad. But honestly, Shadow Shaman, a lot of this game rests on his shoulders.
Yep.
Serpent Wards, the split push you get from Shadow Shaman, the ability to take tier 3s and, potentially racks here are going to be key, as are his talents. Level 20 and level 25, huge if he can get to them.
Yeah. And also giving him some space to itemize further. He has the Yule Scepter in the pipeline. Give himself a little bit of extra safety. And also perhaps for the rest of his team, just another one of these tools to help you kite around the anti-mage, perhaps. Keep them away for a little bit. Speaking of anti-mage, him and the rest of his team just looping up with smoke towards that Roche pit here.
Oh man, that DD rune is so juicy.
Oh, just get it, but it was a bait here. Nice little snowball save, punched up into the air, the RP, trying to turn this around, but Medusa still got the little blood off the Omni Slash, bouncing through on the stoned up Death Prophet. So much damage in a blink of an eye. Sarlacc gets his 208th kill with it on these slashes that Pop-Up showed us, and they're not even done yet. They're looking for more. Night Stalker at nighttime. He cannot quite fly, but the Skewer will get rid of the trees to find a blink. That find Hex. Now the Shackles on long range on the Sand King. And a buyback force out. I'm not sure about this one. He's still gonna lose the Sand King.
He's got no RP either. Sick DD grab by Deucer, the snowball save, everything dodged out, and the AM was just like, nah, I'm out of here. Even with the RP there landing on a couple of people, he blinked away. He's just like, nah, this is not happening. They couldn't get the damage in that they needed to, and the Dire team split that fight so damn nicely. You could see everything coming to fruition as they silence up the anti-mage snowball forward. With the damage they've got, they might just be able to bring him down, but the Skewer saves him. Sends the 3 or 4 Dire heroes back, but a dieback from Magnus will be what ends up happening here as they look for racks. This could be 2 lanes potentially with Magnus dead for a minute. Top lane for sure. Maybe they swing towards the bottom lane, and they will indeed. All the way down to the melee racks here. Oh, VG Gaming Thunder. All of a sudden.
This is the duality of anti-mage games. Like, before 30 minutes, you cannot really fight unless you're super farmed already. And maybe this time, maybe they can find a big man while Silent dropping lower and lower. He does not have any Aegis or anything. With the Epicenter doing a lot of work here, they do bring him down. But what else can they get? Night Stalker on the list, but Aegis respawn on Medusa. Might the Body Rocks does get another ultimate off though. That'll prevent them from immediately falling up, and in fact, well, Sand King a little bit too far ahead of the rest of his team. Brought down with the help of Tusk and Shaman, but now extra mana burns away. And with the bashes, with the Man Void finally coming through, Fatal will secure the kill for the rest of his team. The Glimpse, the Bash, everything. Just stacking up on the TP cancels. And,
it's a law that you have to call Bash there, by the way.
Okay.
You see a hero with a Bash running towards someone that's TPing. He's about to get the hit, and you have to call the Bash so it happens.
Just have to believe, you know. Okay, so at the end of the day, Thunder Gaming maybe biting off a bit more than they can chew. Look at the bottom lane. They committed for the melee racks rather than finishing off at least the range.
Well, they spread their damage across it, right?
Yeah.
They didn't focus on one. Maybe should have focused.
And range racks was down to like a third already, so they just did a little bit of chip damage to that. Could have easily finished it, but oh well. Not the biggest of deals in terms of objectives. But it is, again, a bit of a breathing space for the Radiant side that they certainly need. But they're still dire straits. 13k behind in terms of goals still. The Sentimage, at the very least, he cannot really feel safe going into these 5-on-5 engagements with everything up and ready for the dire side.
You're so heavily reliant on big burst strikes and big RPs. The Dire team doing an amazing job, you know, every fight, apart from that one where they overcommitted for the bot racks, they were spreading out. No one's going to get hit by more than 2 people with a burst strike or 2 people with an RP. They were all, you know, spread out really nicely, making sure that everyone is going to come in from a different angle and fight from different little spots. Very hard for the Sand King and Magnus to find those perfect openings, which Anti-Mage needs. He can't really just jump in. Maybe now with the Manta and the Abyssal Blade, he can consider going on the Medusa immediately. But Butterfly does alleviate a lot of that damage coming her way. Now VG Gaming Thunder thinking about moving forward, but they'll come and scout out Roshan. 20 seconds until he returns. And Sun Gaming. Is it time to go and smoke? You've got RP ready. Everything. In fact, all of your ultis are available. Need that vision though. Vision's so important. And again, Night Stalker, just by being in the game, reducing the vision through darkness, imperative that he is stopping these glimpses, these blink burst strikes, and stopping them from knowing that they're backstabbing their tier 2. Oh, this is going to get messy.
Just switch the vision around time and time again. You see Night Stalker just seeing so much more than Radiant side comes. Storm still comes out. BKBs galore. Now Omnislash bouncing through with a mana void. Not really doing too much. 1-1 trade so far. Couple right clicks coming through, but it is Staff Prophet under retreat. Nice little burst for Epicenter turnaround. But it was just to buy some extra time for Blink. It's not even enough. Yield Scepter, Exorcism still going, but so is the Healing Ward. They can just shrug that off entirely. And all of a sudden, this is another team fight going the way of Thunder. And with that, some more momentum. They'll finish up this tier 2 easy peasy. And without these big ultimates, I mean, yeah. You're writing it down. Magnus Rip. No RP, didn't even get that off. So exactly. On the right side, he still has it up.
I mean, but 20 seconds dead, they're going to lose so much here. Kill Magnus, win the game. It has like a perfect epicenter burst strike. AM and DP are surviving with their ultimates, but with no RP, you can't win the fight. And now Anti-Mage BKB is running forward, trying to catch on to anyone, but he's focusing a Medusa illusion. This is not the way you want to go. Faded has to blink away, and they've lost another full lane of racks. Sun Gaming, seems like this might just be the end.
Certainly gonna take a miracle or two if they want to turn this game around. They're still holding on to one set of racks. They mainly have region back up to full. The range still, of course, sitting at only 209 health points, and they lose another team fight. None of that is gonna be enough to keep them alive afterwards. It's like they need to be ones initiated on, but it's, as you said before, it's so hard with the Night Stalker being on the field.
Magnus, after such a great start, relatively good timing on his Arcanes, his Soul Ring, his Blink Dagger especially, now is behind the Rasta in net worth. Aether Lens, Yules, and Blink Dagger. This catch range from the Shadow Shaman is absolutely enormous. They're looking for an RP and they'll catch 2. The Medusa's in there, but the Hex comes through. The Anti-Mage blinks forward. The Abyssal onto 1, the Focus onto the other, but the Snowball to turn this back around. The Medusa has the Stone Gaze down. The Omnislash. Oh, the Yules. DP saved. The Medusa's getting cleared up by the Mana Void in the back, but the Aegis will bring her back to life in a second. There's the Juggernaut spinning forward. The DP's being chased down. The Spirit Siphon still healing her up, but the blink forward from Sylar should be able to... No, it's not gonna. She's so speedy. Finally, the Snowball forward. This will do the trick. And Sun Gaming, it's about time it's sunset. No dawn for them. As VG Gaming Thunder will force the GG.
No way to fight now. They went for the AP, but a quick hacks from the Shadow Shaman, making sure that they cannot fight in a more safer position. Forced to go into the rest of Thunder's lineup. And of course, that Aegis just claimed a second before, making sure that even though Medusa drops, it was not for long.
Well, game 1, 34 minutes, follows the trend.
Yep.
Juggernaut, can you shut up? Oh my god!
He was very excited about this game.
What's wrong with him? But yeah, it was relatively smooth sailing. A little hiccup there when, Anti-Mage did get a combo with the Magnus.
What's the time? 34 minutes or 11 seconds. Oh. The first game in the other series was 34 minutes and 17 seconds.
Almost perfect. Almost perfect. So what do we expect from the next one then? 6 seconds less? So 31 minutes and 3 seconds should be the next game, and it should be a victory for Sun, and then Sun should win the series, right? If we're following the trend and they come back with 2 victories after this. But we'll find out. We'll find out if the Mafia has been involved with these games. If there's any shenanigans. No, of course not. We're just messing around. Game 2 coming up in a little bit. A short break until we find out whether VG Gaming Thunder can take the 2-0 sweep to go through to the next stage of this ESL 1 Genting Chinese qualifier. See you in a bit.